Hey guys, so about 6 months back I purchased two scales. One of them was the Timemore Black Mirror and the other was a really cheap budget scale, which was this Maxus coffee scale. Last week I did a 6 months updated review for the Timemore Black Mirror, and for this week I want to give you guys my thoughts on this scale after 6 months of daily usage. Alright, so for this video, I don't want to go into as many details as I did with the first one. If you want to watch the original review, you can watch it right here on the corner. And of course, I'm also going to leave the link down there in the description. The main purpose of this episode is really to just give you guys my thoughts after 6 months of use. And honestly, I debated on not making this video at all because most of what I said on the first video still stands true. So in summary, this scale is 10 bucks and it gives you pretty much all the basic function that you would need for a small espresso scale, and it takes up very little space on your espresso machine, and is probably the best budget scale that I have ever used. For some of you, that might just be enough, so you can just go ahead and purchase the scale and be done with it. However, I know that there are other shoppers out there like myself who just want to watch everything that I can about a certain product, even if that said product is only 10 bucks. So with that said, there are still a couple of things that I do want to mention about the scale as a result of using it daily for the past 6 months. So when you're shopping for this scale on Amazon, you might actually see a couple different makers for this exact model. Honestly, I only purchased 2 versions of it. One version measures 2 decimal spaces. However, the max capacity is 500 grams. And this one, which measures only 1 decimal space. However, the max capacity is 1,000 grams. I highly recommend that you get this one. Aside from the brand name that I put on the scale, I think everything else is pretty much the same. I do think this is probably just one generic maker that makes this scale, and a couple different companies put different brandings on them. If you remember in my first video, one of the first things that really surprised me about the scale is really just the weight and feel of it right off the box, especially for something that costs $10. After 6 months, the soft touch material on the back still feels as quote-unquote premium as when I first received it. I just rolled this over my espresso machine with all the steam and water. Honestly, because it's so cheap, I'm not even being careful with it. However, the soft touch material stayed together. I don't see a lot of markings on it, and it still feels very nice to the touch. Next is the speed of measurement. I still find this scale to read plenty fast enough. Just like with any other scale, I've gotten used to when to stop the shot so that I can stop exactly at my desired volume. However, as you can see from the surface here, because of the daily usage, it has gotten quite a few scuffs on the surface. Again, that is not a huge deal. Many of these metallic surfaces will start to show signs of use after a few months. The screen also held up pretty well. It's still plenty bright. It's still very big. I'm not missing any of the digits due to humidity, and I have not gotten any scratches on it because of this cover. The scale measures both in gram as well as in ounce, so it's great for those of you that needs to measure in ounces. And I still have not needed to replace the 2 AAA battery that I put in here when I first bought it. And this is after 6 months of daily usage. And I think that's pretty good. The scale does come with this removable cover that you're supposed to be able to use as a tray. Honestly, I just left this on here. It does not get in the way at all when I'm using it to measure my espressos. Next, out of the few things that was bothering me when I initially purchased the scale, there are 2 things that still stand out 6 months later. Number one is the misprinted labeling that's on the button. As I mentioned in the first review, if you're like me who are bothered by misaligned prints on your buttons, then it's still going to bother you. The next is just the button placement. I also mentioned this in my initial review. The buttons just have a lot of sort of like wiggle and play to them, but at the end of the day, the scale is only $10. And so for a $10 price tag, this scale still impresses me after 6 months. Alright, so that is pretty much it for the 6 months update. If you guys want to watch the full review, please go ahead and click on the link that's in the description. And again, I mainly wanted to make this episode just to let you guys that are shopping for a budget scale out there know that I still think this is a very good scale. With that said, if this is your first time on our channel, or if you have not subscribed yet, please take a moment and hit that subscribe button. And of course, hit like if you find it to be helpful. And as usual, share this video with anyone who you think might find this to be helpful. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, and that's it for this episode. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.